What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in on today's video. I'm Gabe, and today we're going to be talking about a couple things that I strongly dislike or hate of the AMG C63S Edition 1. And I'm going to be very honest, it was very difficult coming up with some of these things. Really, the first couple, I would say the first three, are actually concrete and quite material. The others are kind of just like, just me nitpicking, just to fill in or check in some boxes. But the overall experience and the driving experience of this car is phenomenal. It's really enjoyable. And if you guys want to see the full review where I talk about in-depth specifics about the drive quality and specific technical facts, you guys can check that out in the link in the description below or cards above when you finish this video. But for now, let's talk about some of the things that I strongly hate about this car. Okay guys, so for the first reason on the list, and quite possibly the most important one, is just how ridiculously stiff the C63S Edition 1 is. I'm gonna switch it right now from race mode, which is the most extreme, most raw version or mode in this car. I'm gonna switch it over to comfort mode, right? I'm gonna go over a couple bumps here. I mean, this is just as an emphasis. Not all roads are gonna be like this, but it's still incredibly uncomfortable to drive this. And look, I'll be honest, you buy a sports car thinking that, okay, there's gonna be some drawbacks, especially with the ride quality. But this is a Mercedes-Benz C-Class, and it's not like it's like a pure, raw track made car. This car just, the comfort is literally just meaningless. It literally does nothing, and the ride quality is just absolutely unbearable. I mean, look, if this is gonna be your weekend warrior type of car, then by all means. I mean, what's a couple of, bumps in here on the weekends? But if you're gonna be daily driving this car, just be prepared to have an incredibly stiff and a very rigorous experience with the driving quality, especially if you live in like a big city with, some imperfect roads. It's just, I'm not kidding, guys. The ride quality should be improved. So it's almost as if you were riding on springs or just really bad coilovers, and it seems to be a common complaint with the C63S Edition 1. So that's something I definitely hate. Okay guys, so for our next item on our things that I really dislike or hate. But for this one, we can actually leave it on race mode or on comfort mode. It doesn't matter. And that's gonna be the amount of noise that I guess the interior trims and especially the center dashboard makes. I mean, it makes so much noise for a car that is well over $85,000, and it's kind of unacceptable. And I'm not really sure if it's because of that really rough, like, ride quality. It could possibly be that, I'm not sure. But everything, I mean, in all honesty, it kind of feels like it's somewhat cheap, and the experience kind of gets downplayed just a little bit. You don't feel like it's anything special at that point. You just feel like you're in a regular American muscle car, which, creaking plastic interior is something that is somewhat, in a way, expected. So for the third thing on our list, and it's not that big of a deal, and it's kind of like, again, a preference thing. It's definitely not that. That's pretty enjoyable. But one thing that I will say that the C63 has that I'm not overly too excited about is the fact that the steering wheel doesn't feel very accurate. It just feels very buttery and not very stiff like you'll feel on, like, for example, the M3. Even on sport mode, and this is the current mode that I'm in, the steering wheel just doesn't feel very precise, and it just feels like there's just too much wiggle room. And overall, it's not a really exciting characteristic to have, especially if you're looking to really drive this car on the track and really beat on it and expect to have a lot of turns. If you're going in a straight line, it's not a big deal, but it's just something that, again, I noticed and it's specific to the C63 compared to, let's say, the GT3 Porsche, or perhaps the direct competitor like the M3, or technically it'd be the M4, but you know, those are almost the same cars basically. So the fourth item on our list is kind of a cheap shot, and it should only be a concern when you're addressing a car, all right? And that's gonna be the weight of the C63S compared to the competitors. And it's just so addicting to do that. But anyways, the weight. It is significantly heavier than the M4, M3, and even the RS5, which are, again, direct competitors to the C63 Edition 1. You know, that can present some challenges, and, you know, you don't really feel that much of a weight discrepancy between, especially at least the M3, at least, because of that very powerful V8 that is underneath the hood of this car, and of course, it being twin turboed as well, even more of a difference. And again, I'm purely nitpicking at this point. You know, of course, if you're going to take out some weight, you're obviously going to compromise a lot of comfort features. And oh my god, you hear the creaking and cracking? I'll tell you guys, it's bad. But anyways, I'm only just saying it because the competition is significantly lighter, and you know, what's the excuse of this car? I'm not really sure. Clearly it's not adding more comfort or more luxurious features, because again, there's that creaking and cracking and plasticky feel. But again, it's a cheap shot. It's not really something that I'm overly concerned about, nor should you. But all right, guys, next on our list is going to be the launch control system on this car. So it's kind of unnecessarily sophisticated. It gives you kind of like a couple steps that you have to do, and it's like, it shouldn't be that difficult. Like, I don't know why auto manufacturers do this, but in order to start it up, basically you put your foot on the brake, click both of the pedals, hit the up or the right one to confirm it. And it doesn't even want to do it half the time, so you have to like time it perfectly, and if you mess up, it like resets and stops, and it's like, okay, that's annoying. Oh my god, this thing is just slippery, slippery, slippery. Look, don't get me wrong, it's really exciting when it does go, but it really should just be like a brake, hold brake, you know, floor it, and then just let go. It should be that simple, but it's not. So that's kind of like something that I think BMW also does the same thing. So it's not necessarily like oh, the C63 is the only bad one in the group, but you know, it's just something that, you know, should be a little bit easier to do, but it's not. All right, guys, so for the next reason, and the final reason, is again a very nitpicking type of reason, kind of just like a low ball cheap shot, and it's actually going to be found in the exterior part of the car. But the thing I really hate, and it's kind of like, why, is this little air duct here. It's not even functional. It's just an exterior like add-on to make it look aggressive, which, I mean, look, it does the job very nicely, obviously, on that side as well. But it's like, dude, really? Like, why? But you know, it's not a really big deal. All right, guys, so there you have it. Those are a couple reasons why I absolutely hate the Mercedes-AMG C63S Edition 1. Again, it was really difficult to come up with most of these examples, and that's just because this is a really exciting and fun car to drive, and I overall don't have many complaints aside from the first couple of ones. I hope you guys found some of these reasons somewhat informative and somewhat entertaining as well. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you guys enjoy my content overall, go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, any of my vlogs, any of my thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.